Hello, stamping friends. This is Jenny from Celebrate the Journey, but I'm joining you on Crazy Crafters today. So we've seen some beautiful cards already. Let me get the, so I can see comments. There we go. I think that works. So our goal for today was to share the new colors with you, but using some stamp sets that you may already own. We might give you a sneak peek of a stamp set or two. I don't know what everybody else is doing. I don't think I am, but they might show you something, but mostly it's the colors that we wanted to share with you today. Because with the color refresh, I think it's 11 new colors and lots of retiring colors, and it's kind of confusing, and we want you to feel comfortable with it. Hi, Sandy and Jamie. Thanks. It is morning for me. I know it's lunchtime for you. You get you a peanut butter sandwich and some crackers and just join us. It'll be okay. Let's see. So let me think if I've said everything. Make sure you comment so that we can do some door prizes. Hi, Nancy. And, you know, just leave us a message. We love to hear from you. And we love questions. We love comments. We like to hear from you. So each one of us is focusing on a different color family, and I chose just to share because the cards I made mostly used the Brights and the Regals. So we'll have to wait and see. Or some of the others too. So I chose to do Brights. So these are our current Brights. Poppy Parade, Melon Mambo, Flirty Flamingo, Mango Melody. This one is retiring, not happy. Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, Pacific Point, and Gorgeous Grape. Now I said, let's see, Mango Melody is retiring. I know a lot of the colors I've already sold out of cardstock and ink pads. And if you really, really wanted a certain color, just contact one of us. We more than likely have extras we would sell you. Some of us are willing to sell and some are not. But if you need those colors, let us know. Bermuda Bay is retiring, and that makes me pretty sad too, but I can live with it as long as we keep Coastal Cabana. This is one of my favorite colors. Pacific Point is retiring, and Gorgeous Grape is returning. So these are all returning colors. And we're going to sneak... Oh, did I get Granny Apple Green? Yeah, here it is. It's hiding behind the yellow. So we're going to add some new colors to this color palette. We're going to add Lemon Lime Twist, which is a returning color. And I loved this color when it was an in color. A lot of people hated it, but by the end of 2 years, they were sorry to see it leave. So it's going to slide right in there. And you might think, do we need Lemon Lime, Granny Apple, and Parakeet Party? We do, because they're not the same. Let me get Parakeet Party here. They're different. Do you see? They're totally different. This is more yellow kiwi looking. This is more a mixture of between the lime and lemon lime. So they're not the same. And then we're going to slide in Azure Afternoon. Isn't that pretty? And you might think, well, that kind of looks like Pacific Point. No, it does not. This is much darker. This has a little more orchid color in it, I think. I'm not a good color mixer, but that's what it is. And then we have Berry Burst. This is a returning color, so you might have seen it before. It is not the same as Mango Melody. It's more purple. Mango is pink. So now this is our new brights. And see if I wish I could fan them out like a magician, but I can't. There we go. I think they all go together so nicely. But these also go well with our Regals. You'll see. Pretty colors, aren't they? So these are our new brights. And like Leanne said, order the assortment pack of papers and then just add an ink pad, a blends, a marker as time every month. You don't have to have everything all at once. If you want everything all at once, you could sign up to be a happy shopper or a demonstrator. Just talk to one of us. We'll be glad to help you with that. I love the colors too, Sandy. Hi, Marge. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, color, color, color. You know, I will use settles sometimes, but brights and Regals are my favorites. But then, you know, I love all colors. I chose to focus on a stamp set that I felt like most of you had already bought, the Dainty Delight. And one reason you bought it was because you could get that pretty paper from Celebration. But that paper, you know, was Celebration only, and you can't get it back. So now you need to use this stamp set in a different way, and the dies. So I wanted to show you some of the cards that I made just using some of the new colors. I don't think I need this anymore, so let's put that to the side. The first thing I did was I looked in the mini catalog and I cased the catalog. Do you know that there are always samples in the catalog? So this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4, but guess what? It should have another one. Yeah, it will have another one back in the back that's different from the ones in the front. So you have 5 cards that you can case from the catalog. That means copy and share everything, copy and stamp everything. I don't know, whatever. Even if you don't own all the elements, you can use the design, you can substitute colors. So that's what I did. And I cased 2 here. So I'll show you what I did. I didn't have the paper. I didn't have that designer series. I think they used designer series paper. So I made this one in Mango Melody and Pear Pizzazz. Both of those colors are retiring. And since I didn't have the paper, I used the stitched leaves, stitched greenery for the background, and that is also retiring. And I just made this card. It says, sending love, sending love, sending love. It could be a birthday on the inside. It could be thinking of you. It could be whatever. Happy anniversary. But that's the one from the catalog. And then I redid it with some new colors. This is Lemon Lolly and the Azure Afternoon. And this is Granny Apple Green. And I think in the catalog that was designer series paper also, but I didn't have any, so I just stamped the background on there and made my own. And I could put some little bling on there. I probably will, but I didn't. Lemon Lolly. Do you know how many times I have wished for a yellow that was yellow? And it's not what I wanted. Lemon lime. I wanted yo-yo yellow back, but I'm very happy with this. I love Daffodil Delight, but I don't like the ink. This ink in Lemon Lolly stamps beautifully. So if you've been wanting a nice yellow, you'll like Lemon Lolly. Now, I didn't make the one in the catalog like this. I mean, this one in the catalog, it looks to me like it's maybe Blushing Bride or Calypso Coral. I'm not real sure. But I made it in Berry Burst. I actually like my card better. What do you think? Isn't that stunning? And this is the new Pebbled Path ink there for the background. Now, I didn't have that die and I didn't have that ribbon, but I just substituted. And then instead of the milky dots, I think that's what those were, I used butterflies. I think in Berry Burst this came out really pretty. And again, they had designer series paper, but I just stamped the background, and I only stamped around the edges to create my little texture there. So those are the two that I cased from the catalog. Then I created a couple more. This one I saw from another demonstrator. Okay, Sheila, I will talk to Jamie about that. Yeah, I know that you're here, and I'm glad you're here, but I'm not sure what your question is, so we'll talk about it. But it's nice to see you, and I will tell Jamie that you're here. So this is Orchid Oasis, but I used Lemon Lime Twist, and then I used Lemon Lolly, and then I used Calypso Coral. But I will give credit to the demonstrator that I copied this design from. Of course, hers was totally different colors and all kinds of stuff, but I thought this one was nice and simple. It just used the dies, and I inked that with blending brushes. And then this one is just stamping with the new Bubble Bath. And I think that's pretty. Isn't that a pretty pink? And then I just colored with Lemon Lolly, the new Lemon Lime Twist, and Berry Burst, and Bubble Bath. I think I could go back and put some bling on there and some Wink of Stella. I don't know. It's kind of like a little shadow box because it's I put the foam strips behind there. And this is die cut with scalloped contours and stitched rectangles. And stitched rectangles is retiring. So if you don't own that, you're going to want to get it. But those are the cards that I wanted to share, just using Dainty Delight with different colors. You don't have to be sad that your designer series paper is gone, because now you can still make pretty cards without it. Okay, let's make a card. And it's going to be simple, but that's all right. We're going to start with Blueberry Bushel. This is so hard learning these new colors. And we're just going to leave it plain. I have already die cut a deckled rectangle, deckled edge. This is returning, so you're okay with that one. And I've die cut a basic white. So that's what we're going to kind of start with. Now, a couple weeks ago, you know, I shared this stamp set and I said, I think it'll retire. It's not retiring, and I'm so excited because you're going to love having this stamp set if you have it. If you don't have it, you probably need to get it. I'm going to stamp it with Bubble Bath. Has nothing to do with the ocean. It's just the way it is. And we're going to stamp this smeary piece here. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I think in the catalog, this is part of the sky and the ocean, but we're going to let it be our background. It's wonderful when we have, there is a piece of paper on my ink pad, and now it's going to have left a, no, it didn't leave a little spot. That's good. So now we have a nice, subtle bubble bath background. What a pretty color. It's not dirty. It's not blushing bride, but it's a nice crisp pink. All right, I'm going to let that dry while it doesn't take seconds to dry. But now we're going to do a little blending. We're going to make hydrangeas. To me, it kind of looks like a hydrangea. We're going to start with Blueberry Bushel. You're going to think this is pretty. I've noticed that the blues tend to stick to my blending brush the most. So I'm just going to start labeling some of them a blue blending brush. I don't want my paper to get dirty. So we'll use a piece of scrap paper. And we're just going to make, we want this to be not solid. Does that make sense? I still want white around the edge, dark in the middle. So we're just going to lightly make these spots. Now we're going to do the same with Berry Burst. And we'll kind of darker there in the center part. Just so it's not even. This isn't like we're really blending for a good effect. And then the next one we're going to do Orchid Oasis. I think I have room for it over there. A little bit darker in the center. There we go. I think someone asked earlier, will we do dimensions? And yes, we will. And we'll also add our color choices for you if you want to be able to make the card exactly like ours. At least I will. I can't speak for the others, but I think, don't those colors look good? I think everyone is willing to share. You might have to give us a couple days, but we'll see. Now, in the dies for the Dainty Delight, there's this die. I think this is actually supposed to be Queen Anne's lace or something like that, but I'm going to make mine with colors. So we're going to cut these out using our mini die cut machine. some of you got this when you joined, and I think they're going to have a few extras left in May. If you did not get a mini boho, it might be available. I'm not positive. We're going to have to wait and see. But if you didn't get the boho, you can always get the white one. The mini is really good for these small dies. You can just run them through real quick. Now we'll need to get that out of there. This does have some paper chads. We'll look at those in a minute. Now, run the next one through. Berry Burst. This mini machine is also great if you're a scrapbooker or if you like to go to crops. You can take it and you're not having to carry a large one. You're just going to make sure your projects will work with the smaller machine. If you go to those crops, sometimes it's like people move their whole craft room in there. Set up a whole table. I love blue and pink together, Denise. All right. Now let's get all our little pieces popped out. Make sure I put that die where I don't lose it. Oh my goodness. I am the world's best at losing dies. I thought I had lost a die from the frame florets, and I found it when I was packing up. It was in another set, so at least it wasn't lost. Now you see we have our three. These are all colors I think hydrangeas can be, don't you think? We're going to pretend that that's the way they are. And now we're going to put them on our bubble bath. I went ahead and die cut 3 of the dried Queen Anne's lace, but I don't really want them to all show behind. To me, it's a little too much. So we're going to give them a haircut. Now we're just going to keep the little stem part. And then, of course, we'll have trash everywhere. I think cutting these off and using them on your card like that would still be kind of interesting. You could use that for dried autumn colors. Look, pecan pie and the pebble path and the wild wheat, all these 3 together to make a fall bouquet, perfection. I would show you that, but for some reason I forgot to order wild wheat. Or I just missed ordering it, so it's coming next week. Okay, now we're ready to put our simple card together. And we're just going to use some Tombow. I'm going to show you what I do when it's a simple, small little pieces like this. I get my silicone mat, and I'm going to just put some glue on there. We've got quite a few pieces, so we'll put that on there. And I might need, and we're going to pick this up and dab it on there. And you get enough on there without leaving gobs behind. And we're just going to put that right about there. I'm not going to push it down yet because I need to do our little branch and slide our stem. Slide it under there. Now I don't have glue on my hands. It's not all over my card, hopefully. You know, if you do get it on your card, just put some, use your embossing buddy and soak up the glue or some baby powder, talcum powder. If you use something with a scent, your card will smell pretty. Let's see, I think I'm going to pull this one over a little bit if I can. I don't know if I better leave it alone. We'll be okay. Now we're going to put our pink one. Do you see why I left it lighter and darker? Because that gives it a more realistic look. You don't want it all this. Flowers are not all the same. They have shades, shading. And even though paper is all one color, we can try to make it as realistic as possible. Oh, that's going to work. There's our pretty little bouquet. Now that little piece right there, we will just use a piece of scrap paper to snug up some glue under there. Called snuggling. We'll just slide that under there and tap it, and it'll pick up some glue. It doesn't matter if it's loose a little. It just makes it easier to get it in the card if it's not too fussy. Now, I wanted to show you, you let that dry. You don't worry about putting it in the sink or anything. Just let it dry, because then once it's dry, you can take your finger and just pull all that glue off. I thought I had left some on there for you to see. You just roll it off and pick it up and throw it in the trash can. So let that dry. Don't worry about putting it in the sink, and you'll be able to just rub it off with your fingers. Okay, now we're ready. You know what's going to happen next, don't you? We got to put some Wink of Stella on here. Because everything needs some shine. And glitter. No glitter. Okay, now we're ready to put this together. We'll add a little more here. We're just going to adhere this on our berry burst piece. Isn't that pretty? Oh, hey, Penny, I'm glad you got your birthday card. Your sweet husband texted everybody, didn't he? It said, send Penny a card. And now we'll lay that on blueberry bushel. And I'm going to use my foam strips for this one, because I want it to be raised up a little bit. I just ran those through the paper trimmer. These are a little bit higher than our regular dimensionals, a little bit thicker, I think. It's just a shade bigger. And I think we can cut this in half. So it kind of depends on how much dimension you like. If you want it a little lower, then just use the regular dimensionals. I love these foam things, and they would also be great for scrapbooking if you want a little dimension on a scrapbook page, but you can't have lots of fussy stuff. Now we need a bow. We're going to use linen thread. Thank goodness it's hanging around. I'm going to do a double bow, just because this is a pretty simple card. We can add a few more elements to it to just jazz it up. Oh, isn't that the truth? I could probably spend my day looking for lost items, Denise. I have spent days doing that. Now we'll put this on with some dimensionals, and that works great right there, doesn't it? Now I need to leave a little room towards the bottom for my sentiment. And we'll put this on with a glue dot. Right about there. And to bring in a little more bubble bath, we're going to stamp our sentiment on a piece of bubble bath. We're going to use the blueberry bushel. And this sentiment is from the Easter Bunny set, which is still current. And it just says, enjoy all the little moments. You could do it, you're a friend like no other. This doesn't have to be Easter. It's a good one, and I liked this sentiment, so enjoy all the little moments. And we're going to die cut that with stylish shapes. I'm going to run this through the big machine, mainly because I've already put the little one away. I could have tried stamping on a pre-cut dyed one, but it's pretty tiny, so I probably would mess that up. Pick up some of these little Queen Anne's lace pieces. That came out pretty good. And this one we can just put on with Tombow. This is up so high, I think we don't need any more dimension. And we're gonna let that hang off the edge a little bit. The more you can have your eyes wander around the card front, and this will make your eyes wander, then that will give more interest to your card. And then we're going to add some brass butterflies for more interest. And actually, these tend to do a little better with this spatula looking thing. Don't these colors pop, Marge? It's just bright springtime. I'm ready. You know, we thought we were ready for spring. It snowed yesterday. And it's going to snow today. But we still went for a walk in the snow. It was just sloppy, wet snow. But spring will be here before us, before you know it. So there's our card. Do you see how all these things make your eyes wander all the way around the card? Now for the inside, I just pulled a happy birthday to remember, you know, to go in the card. I think everybody needs to remember to enjoy all the moments of their birthday. I might put another little blossom in the corner. We'll wait and see. So that's our card. So you've noticed so far I haven't used any designer series paper. But we're going to do that right now. So let me make sure I put all these things in a safe place. And find my paper. Oh my goodness. Here we go. So we know we tend to get pretty paper and then we hoard it. And then we get more pretty paper and we hoard that. Well, I think especially at springtime, you tend to have maybe some ladies' luncheons, tea parties, that you might enjoy having little party favors for your guests. I don't know. Depends on. So we've got a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and we're going to do some scoring. First, we're going to cut it. We're going to cut it to, let's see, my trimmer. I need to turn my trimmer. 12. We're going to leave it at 12, and we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. I mean 8 1/4. Now you'll have some more paper left to make 2 cards, or 3, depending on what kind of card you make. Now we're going to do some scoring. So we're going to score here at 4 1/2. No, wrong way. 4 1/2. I didn't think that looked right. Five 3/4. 10 1/4. And 11 1/2. Now on one side, we're going to score at 1 1/4. And on the other side, we're going to score at 1. You can use your trimmer if you have that kind of trimmer, or you can use your scoreboard. And now we're going to do all our creases. We're going to do this one, this way. It's good to do your creases so you can see where you scored, because it is hard to see on designer series paper. For me. I'm probably going to run into Claudia's time, but she'll forgive me because we do want to finish this. Or Jamie, I think it's Jamie, she'll forgive me. Oops, one more. Now, it's a little easier to see on this side because it's not quite so fussy. And we're going to do some trimming. This is on the 1 1/4 side. We're going to cut a little notch just so we're going to make a bag out of this, just so our bag cut folds easy. This one we're going to cut off. Now don't cut the one on the top off. Now this is going to be a little trim on our bag. And we're going to glue that together. I think it'll be a little easier if we do it this way. Actually, I probably shouldn't have trimmed that, but that's all right. We'll fix it. And we'll put our Tombow here. I should have cut that the other way, and you'll see why in a minute. But we all make goofy mistakes, don't we? But we can put that down and it'll cover up our little seam. See, if I had cut it on the other side, it would slide under there. But we'll just glue that down and we'll be happy with it the way it is. And we'll glue this down. When I put the directions, you'll see how you're supposed to cut that rather than the way I did it. All right. Now, while this is, before we've put it together, we're going to punch some holes for a handle. And we're going to punch 1.5 inches in on both sides. I'm going to put a pencil mark, and I'm just kind of eyeballing. Looks like the center of that piece of paper. If you are real picky, you can measure. It would be 1/2 inch. Now, depending on what size ribbon you use, then that depends on what size hole punch you want to use. But I'm just using a regular office size hole punch because I'm using a little fatter ribbon, and I just don't want to get too fussy about my ribbon. And we're going to go ahead and put our ribbon on now. If I can find it. Oh, here it is. and it will take about 18 inches. You can make it longer if you want. It's up to you. There's so many ways you can attach this ribbon. We're going to run it through and bring it around. You'll see why I'm not putting it on. I'm putting it on now while the bag is flat, because it's easier to tie that way. Now you could just do knots, but I want a bow, and that's why we're doing it this way. Because along with Designer Series paper, I bet we all have ribbon, don't we? That we need to use up. Oh, I can see it. Can't find, there we go. Got to catch the end of that. Bows are fussy, aren't they? You know what? I think I can actually tie it in a double knot, because it's not going on a card. It's not going in the mail. I think it'd be easier to tie my bow. Definitely. I would not do that if it was a card going in the mail, because it would be too lumpy. And this way it'll also keep it from coming untied too much, I hope. There we go. That was much easier. Okay, so there's one on that side. We'll do with the other one on the other side. See, if I'd had a small hole, it'd be harder to get this ribbon through. But it just depends. Everybody has preferences. Now we'll pull that up and tie a knot. Oh man, I think I'm going to finish, and Jamie will just jump right on here next. I'm not going to fuss with that right now, so that now you're just going to put all your pieces down in there. Put some Tombow. More Tombow here. Fold that over. Then get something. I tried using the bone folder. I thought it was a little too short, so I'm using my ruler just to push that down. Now you have a sweet little gift bag for that party you're going to. Hostess gift. You've used up almost a whole sheet of paper, and I'll show you what you can put in it. Isn't that cute? So I made a little, of course I made a sample for you. This one I added, Life is Better with Friends Like You, and some labeling. This holds 6 cards and 6 envelopes. Now, if I was going to a party, I think this would be a perfect little hostess gift. Or if you were having a tea party, you could have one of these at the table. So, if you're like me, you have lots of cards, and you would be willing to give them away. So I hope you enjoyed our new Brights. Oh, I forgot to ask, has anybody who's not a demonstrator gotten their catalog yet? I know a few people have, but I don't know. I just let us know if you've gotten your catalog in the mail. And thanks for joining us. Jamie will be on in about 6 minutes. I think it's Jamie. My goodness. I don't know who's next. Oh, I forgot one more thing I did want to mention to you. Who said, oh, Denise, you got yours yesterday. Great. You may have noticed that there is a price increase. Along with eggs and gas, Stampin' Up is going up in price. If you want to order some basics like real red cardstock or basic white or thick basic white, any of the colors that are returning, if there are some of your favorites, go ahead and order them at the cheaper price, so that then you'll be able to spend a little more money on the new stamp sets. Nobody likes to see a price increase, but it happens, and that's just the way it is. So hang around. Jamie will be here in a few minutes. And yeah, Rosalind, what hasn't increased in price? And let us hear from you. Bye.